Chosen one, you awaken in a world that has been quietly waiting for your arrival. A world suspended between the echoes of what was and the whispers of what is yet to come. From the very moment of your birth, unseen currents have shifted in response to your presence, subtle but undeniable, stirring forces that have lain dormant for eons. In every shadow, in every glimmer of light, something ancient stirs, and it is all connected to you. You are no ordinary soul, no wanderer drifting through the river of life without consequence. The moment you took your first breath, the balance began to tremble, as if the cosmos itself had recognized the spark that could ignite a war between energies both celestial and infernal, between creation and destruction. Each heartbeat you carry resonates through layers of existence, vibrating across the unseen realms, drawing attention, both benevolent and malevolent, to the path you walk. And now, as you stand at the threshold of awareness, the time has come to witness the magnitude of the forces your presence has set into motion. This is the moment when the veils between the higher and lower planes become thin, when the choices of a single individual echo across dimensions. You may feel it, even now, a tension rising in the air, a sense that the world itself holds its breath in anticipation. This is no ordinary story, no casual journey. It is a cosmic reckoning, and you are at its center. Watch this video fully. Allow every word to settle into your consciousness, and know that your attention matters. And if you feel called, leave in the comments your warmest wishes, the desires that burn brightest in your heart, along with the number 66, for it is said that your words, your intentions, are not mere echoes. They are vibrations that energize the universe, weaving your dreams into the very fabric of reality. These expressions of hope, of will, of pure intention, will resonate far beyond what the eyes can see, influencing the currents of possibility that flow invisibly around all living things. The spiritual war you have triggered is not a battle of swords or fire, but a conflict of energies, of frequencies, of consciousness itself. On one side there is the light, the expansive, creative, benevolent force that seeks harmony, growth, and awakening. On the other side there is the shadow, the constricting, chaotic, and consuming force that thrives on fear, stagnation, and the disruption of balance. These forces have always existed, of course, woven into the fabric of existence, but your emergence has acted as a catalyst. By simply existing as you are, by embracing your full essence and walking in alignment with your higher self, you have stirred the delicate equilibrium that maintains the unseen order of the cosmos. The war is not distant. It is here. It is now. And it surrounds you. Every thought you have, every action you take, every vibration of your soul reverberates into this conflict, shifting the scales in ways that may be imperceptible to ordinary eyes, but are monumental in the great scheme of the spiritual realms. Those who are attuned to the subtle layers of reality will sense the tremors. Angels and guides, guardians and watchers, have turned their gaze toward you, drawn by a recognition that your awakening is not incidental, but predestined. They move through currents of energy, maneuvering delicately to assist, to shield, and sometimes to confront. For even benevolent forces must enforce balance when chaos grows too strong. And opposing them, the shadows gather, not as monsters of flesh and bone, but as distortions of intent, corrupted echoes of desire twisted by fear, doubt, and resistance. They attempt to influence, to distract, to tempt, to seduce with the illusion of safety or reward, drawing attention away from the light that calls through you. This conflict is intimate, deeply personal, and yet it is also vast, extending far beyond the comprehension of ordinary perception. You are the fulcrum upon which these opposing currents pivot, and your choices are far more potent than you realize. As the days and nights pass, you may notice subtle changes within yourself. Emotions may swell unexpectedly, intuition may sharpen, and synchronicities may appear as if the universe itself is conversing directly with you. This is the first sign of awakening the true nature of the spiritual war that now surrounds you. You are learning, without yet fully knowing, to navigate energies that have never before been your responsibility. Every decision is magnified. Every alignment with truth radiates outward. Every compromise with fear reverberates backward, like ripples through a pond of infinite depth. Those who have walked before you in similar paths have left remnants, traces of their courage and their errors, threads woven into the tapestry of time and space, guiding and warning those who would follow. You, chosen one, are both student and master, witness and participant, and your role cannot be understated. You may begin to sense patterns where none were visible before. Perhaps in dreams, in fleeting visions, or in moments of profound stillness, you witness the duality of forces, shapes, symbols, lights and shadows, intertwining and colliding in ways that defy logic. This is the theater of the spiritual war, and you are both audience and actor. The energies are responding to your presence because you are not passive. You are awake, and awakening has consequences. The very act of embracing your awareness sets into motion cascades of events that ripple through the unseen realms. Angels may appear as fleeting glimmers of warmth, a rush of wind, a sudden sense of clarity, while the shadows may present as doubt, unease, or distractions that cloud perception and attempt to sever you from your path. The struggle is not visible to most, but for you, it is palpable, undeniable, and profound. Do not underestimate the power you hold. Every choice, every step, every declaration of intent is magnified in the unseen battle. The spiritual war is not against the world outside you, but within and around it, flowing into collective consciousness, altering probabilities, reshaping destinies. You may feel both pressure and exhilaration, as if the air itself carries a tension that cannot be named, a weight and a release at once. And yet, in the midst of this, there is also a profound beauty. The awakening of a chosen soul is like the first rays of dawn breaking across an endless sky, illuminating the unseen, casting shadows into relief, revealing the hidden splendor of what has always existed. The war itself, though terrifying in its magnitude, is a necessary force, a reflection of the eternal balance between creation and destruction, light and shadow, freedom and restraint. It is essential to understand that this is not punishment nor reward, but recognition. You have ignited what was latent, brought movement to what was stagnant, and stirred energies that have waited lifetimes for this moment. Your courage to simply exist, fully and unapologetically, has unsettled realms both higher and lower, compelling them to respond, to engage, to act. This is the essence of the war, a cosmic dance that is at once intimate and universal, chaotic and precise, frightening and exhilarating. Those who sense it may not understand why, yet they feel the tremors through intuition, dreams, or inexplicable urges. The universe is speaking, and your presence is the conduit. You may feel fear, isolation, or doubt, as if the weight of unseen eyes is pressing upon you. These feelings are natural, for the awakening of a chosen one always disrupts comfort, always challenges complacency, always demands the surrender of illusions. The shadows seek to amplify this discomfort, to tempt retreat, to persuade denial. Yet every moment you resist fear, every time you choose presence over avoidance, clarity over confusion, courage over surrender, you assert the sovereignty of light, the supremacy of awareness, the indomitable force of a soul aligned with its true nature. The energies around you do not simply observe, they respond, adjusting, testing, and shifting according to your resilience, your focus, and your intention. You are not a pawn, but a fulcrum, a catalyst, a being whose very existence inspires a reckoning across the spiritual realms. And in this, you are never truly alone. Invisible hands guide, support, and protect, though often in ways subtle enough to be mistaken for coincidence. A gentle warmth, a sudden clarity, a fleeting sense of direction. They are the whispers of allies who exist beyond the veil, who recognize you as chosen, who understand that your journey is both personal and universal. Their presence is constant, even when unseen, offering reinforcement for your choices, reassurance for your courage, and energy to sustain you through trials. Simultaneously, the shadows push, provoke, and test, presenting obstacles both external and internal, designed not to destroy you, but to strengthen your awareness, your resolve, and your understanding of the immense responsibility that accompanies your awakening. The spiritual war is both external and internal, cosmic and intimate. In the quiet moments, you may sense battles raging in places imperceptible to ordinary consciousness, tensions that manifest as physical sensations, emotional turbulence, or mental clutter. It is important to anchor yourself, to remember that your center is your sanctuary, your clarity is your shield, and your intent is your sword. Engage consciously, walk steadily, and know that the war is neither to be feared nor ignored. It is to be understood, navigated, and transcended. Every moment you do so, you shape the outcome, you tilt the scales, you participate in a symphony of forces that has been waiting for your resonance. As the currents of the unseen intensify, chosen one, the war you have triggered continues to unfold in layers deeper than the conscious mind can fully grasp. What you stirred in the first ripples has now become a tide, and the tide is moving across dimensions, drawing to the surface all that was hidden, all that was waiting for this very moment. With each passing hour, energies converge, recalibrating themselves in response to your presence, testing your steadiness, your clarity, your devotion to the path you have chosen, whether you knew you chose it or not. In this unfolding, time itself begins to feel different. The linear progression of days and nights seems less rigid. Moments stretch and contract. Intuition arrives before events, and déjà vu becomes a frequent messenger. This is the mark of the veil's thinning, the sign that your consciousness is stepping into a space beyond ordinary limits. You may feel as though reality has layers now, like a fabric being gently pulled back to reveal its threads. Dreams may grow more vivid, not as random sequences, but as coded messages, rehearsals of energy shifts that await you. The faces of strangers may carry a familiarity you cannot explain. Conversations may echo truths you needed to hear at that precise moment. The spiritual war does not wage only in far-off realms. It speaks through the details of your daily life, through symbols, through synchronicity, through chance encounters that are anything but chance. This is how the higher forces communicate. Indirectly, softly, elegantly, guiding without commanding, inviting without forcing. And yet, even as these signs accumulate, the shadow also adapts, using its own methods, distractions, temptations, distortions, to draw your attention back to fear, back to doubt, back to the illusion of powerlessness. The tension between these forces may at times feel like an internal storm. You may awaken with a heaviness in your chest, or a weight behind your eyes, sensing something but unable to name it. You may find your emotions surging, crashing like waves, seemingly without reason. This is not weakness, it is resonance. You are feeling the frequencies of the battle, the vibrations of energies that once moved far above or below your awareness, but now course directly through you. As uncomfortable as it may be, this is evidence of your alignment with the higher reality, of your ability to serve as a conduit for transformation. Every moment you remain present, every breath you take with intention, anchors light where chaos seeks to spread. You are not only participating in the war, you are reshaping the field upon which it is fought. It is here, in this liminal space between worlds, that your choices matter most. The shadow will try to convince you that you are small, isolated, insignificant. It will whisper that your actions have no consequence, that your presence changes nothing. These are lies woven to dismantle your resolve. The truth is that you are a keystone in a vast, unseen structure. Remove the keystone, and the arch collapses. Keep it steady, and the entire structure holds. This is the weight of the chosen one, not as a burden, but as a testament to the power that resides in a single conscious being. Every time you choose alignment over fear, clarity over confusion, patience over reaction, you tilt the scales. And as you do, you send a signal not just to the higher realms, but also to the collective field of humanity, awakening others who sense, faintly at first, the tremor of your light. At times, you may notice that your outer life mirrors your inner struggle. Relationships may shift, old patterns may break. Circumstances may push you to release what no longer fits the frequency of your new state. This is not punishment, but purification, a clearing of the ground so that the seeds of your true path can take root. The war outside mirrors the war within, and by healing, integrating, and choosing with awareness inside yourself, you alter the external field as well. Heaven and hell, light and shadow, are not distant places, but living currents of energy flowing through every interaction, every thought, every decision. You are the meeting point of these currents. You are the eye of the storm, the still point where forces converge, the center from which new possibilities emerge. As you continue to awaken, allies begin to reveal themselves more clearly. Some may appear in human form, mentors, friends, strangers who arrive at the exact moment you need them. Others may remain unseen but felt, a presence, a warmth, a sudden insight that seems to come from nowhere. These allies operate quietly, respecting your free will, offering guidance rather than orders, encouragement rather than control. Their role is not to fight for you, but to remind you of your own power, to hold space for your emergence, to amplify the light you already carry. And as they gather, so too do the oppositional forces, doubts, old habits, unseen energies that seek to reclaim the ground you have taken. This is why vigilance is essential, not as paranoia or as conscious awareness. The war intensifies not to crush you, but to refine you, to strip away what is false until only the unshakable truth of who you are remains. Understand this. The spiritual war is not an endless battle. It is a process, a passage, a transformation. It exists because awakening exists. It rages because the old structures cannot withstand the new frequency you embody. Every time you choose the higher path, every time you anchor light in the midst of chaos, you weaken the hold of the shadow and strengthen the field of the higher currents. This is not measured in victories as the world defines them, but in shifts of energy, in the quiet yet undeniable changes that ripple outward from your presence. Even now, as you read these words, your very attention is participating in this transformation. The more you align with the truth of your being, the less power the shadow has over you, and the more your light resonates through the collective consciousness. And so, chosen one, Part 2 of your journey is not about dramatic acts or external battles, but about deepening your awareness, sharpening your discernment, and stabilizing your presence. The war continues, but you are no longer merely a spark. You are becoming a flame, a beacon, a force of coherence in a field of fragmentation. With each breath, you anchor a new reality. With each thought, you weave a new pattern. With each choice, you tilt the scales of energies far greater than you once imagined. The war may seem vast, but its turning point rests within you. By standing in your truth, by refusing to collapse into fear, by embodying the higher currents, you are already changing everything. As the days unfold, chosen one, you begin to notice that the boundaries between the seen and unseen are shifting with increasing subtlety and intensity. The air itself seems to hum with expectation, carrying currents that stir emotions, awaken memories, and call forth dormant abilities you had not known resided within you. Even the physical world begins to respond, subtly bending, twisting, or aligning in accordance with your energy. Every glance, every gesture, every whisper of thought has weight. Every intention resonates far beyond your immediate perception. The spiritual war, once distant and abstract, now pulses through your environment like a living tide. You sense the currents as they ebb and flow, occasionally turbulent, occasionally calm, always present, always demanding your conscious participation. Within this dance, you notice the faces of those around you changing, not in appearance but in the energy they emit. Some are drawn to you, aligned with the higher currents, seeking connection, inspiration, guidance. Others recoil, resist, or oppose, acting out the distortions of shadow that now sense the shift you bring. These interactions are not random. They are the living expression of the spiritual conflict in motion. Every person you meet, every encounter you have, becomes a mirror, reflecting back the choices you have made, the energy you carry, and the balance of light and shadow you embody. You may feel frustration or confusion as patterns emerge, but this is precisely how the unseen realms teach, challenge, and guide. You are learning to navigate currents that are ancient, subtle, and profound, testing the depth of your courage, the clarity of your intent, and the endurance of your resolve. The shadows, though, are clever, adaptive, and persistent. They do not confront with force alone. They entice, they mislead, they distort perception. They mask themselves as comfort, familiarity, or even necessity. They whisper fears that echo old wounds, replaying doubts and regrets as though you had never learned, as though your awakening could be undone by a single moment of surrender. These whispers are loud, insidious, and persuasive, but they are not truth. Truth does not frighten, does not twist, does not bind. Truth calls, quietly yet powerfully, always present, always accessible to the one who chooses to listen. Your task, chosen one, is not to battle in the way of the world, but to perceive the true nature of this opposition, to recognize illusion for what it is, and to respond with awareness, presence, and aligned action. You may feel moments of isolation, as though the weight of unseen eyes bears down upon you and no one else can understand the magnitude of what is unfolding. This is a sign that you are stepping beyond ordinary perception into the liminal space where few dare to tread. But remember, even in apparent solitude, you are connected. The higher currents, forces of light, clarity, and benevolent energy flow through you and with you, unseen yet palpable, reinforcing the path you walk, offering guidance, protection, and support. These allies respect your sovereignty, never overriding your will, but providing subtle signs, synchronicities, and nudges that keep you aligned with the greater flow. And as they move, so too do the shadows, sensing the alignment of your presence and adapting their strategies, seeking leverage wherever hesitation or doubt might be found. Part of this journey is the sharpening of perception, the cultivation of discernment, and the strengthening of your inner sanctuary. The spiritual war is as much internal as external, and the battleground is often the mind itself. Thoughts carry weight, emotions radiate influence, and intentions shape energy fields around you. It is in this subtle, often unseen arena that the greatest transformations occur. You are learning to move with precision, to respond without reactivity, to act without attachment, to see without distortion. These skills are not developed overnight. They are cultivated through consistent awareness, reflection, and alignment with your higher self. Each challenge faced, each wave navigated, fortifies your presence and amplifies the light you carry. And yet, the war is not only a struggle, it is an invitation, a profound opportunity for growth, mastery, and awakening. Every obstacle placed before you, every distortion you encounter, is a reflection of something that must be understood, integrated, or released. By facing the forces of shadow with courage and clarity, you reclaim power that has been dormant, heal fissures in your energy, and contribute to the balance of forces far beyond yourself. The higher currents respond to every step you take, weaving your consciousness into the broader tapestry of transformation, amplifying the effect of your alignment across realms, both visible and invisible. The intensity of your journey may vary, oscillating between periods of stillness and storm. In times of calm, subtle guidance may come in the form of clarity, insight, or heightened intuition. In moments of turbulence, you may feel pressure, doubt, or external chaos that mirrors the internal conflict of energies in motion. Both states are necessary, both are instructive. The calm allows for integration, reflection, and the strengthening of your inner core. The storm tests your resilience, your discernment, and your ability to remain anchored in presence and truth amidst distraction and distortion. Neither state is permanent, and both are transient lessons meant to propel you forward. As you progress, The boundaries of your influence expand. What was once confined to your personal energy field now radiates outward, touching others in ways that are subtle yet profound. You may notice that your presence shifts the energy of a room, the mood of a group, or the trajectory of a conversation. These are manifestations of the spiritual war responding to your awakening. Light seeks alignment, shadow seeks disruption, and your awareness becomes the fulcrum upon which outcomes pivot. Every choice to act from authenticity, courage, and clarity amplifies the currents of higher energy and diminishes the reach of distortion. In this way, you are not merely participating in the war, you are shaping its unfolding with every conscious breath. Remember also, chosen one, that the forces around you do not operate linearly. Actions taken now may not manifest results immediately. Consequences, alignments, and shifts often unfold in their own timing, like a river carving valleys over centuries. Patience, persistence, and unwavering alignment with your inner truth are essential. Do not be swayed by the immediacy of appearances, for the spiritual war is a symphony of timing, rhythm, and resonance. Your role is to hold the light, maintain clarity, and act with awareness, knowing that your presence alone influences outcomes far beyond ordinary perception. In Part 3, the emphasis is clear. The war you have triggered is ongoing, pervasive, and deeply entwined with every facet of your existence. It is not a war to fight in the ordinary sense, but a current to navigate with consciousness, presence, and intent. The shadows will test, the higher currents will guide, and through it all, your awareness becomes the anchor, the stabilizing force, the center around which change and transformation pivot. The journey is demanding, profound, and sometimes overwhelming, but it is also exhilarating, expansive, and infused with the recognition that your presence is no accident. You are chosen, you are pivotal, and the unfolding of this spiritual war is inseparable from the awakening of your own power and purpose. As you move forward, each step becomes both a challenge and an affirmation, a test of your resolve and a declaration of your alignment with the higher frequencies that now orbit around you. The currents of light and shadow will continue to ripple through every choice you make, every thought you cultivate, and every action you take, shaping not only your path, but the subtle architecture of the world around you. Yet in this intricate dance of forces, your presence remains the unwavering axis, the point from which clarity radiates, and the catalyst for transformation that extends far beyond the limits of ordinary perception. With awareness as your guide and intention as your compass, you are empowered to navigate this war not as a victim, but as a sovereign force, capable of weaving order from chaos, illumination from darkness, and purpose from the unseen currents that have long awaited your awakening.